The global economy operates on a very tight margin, and the vast majority of that margin is pumped directly out of the Middle East. Every day, millions of barrels of crude oil move across the world to keep transportation networks running and power grids online. But that massive flow of energy relies on a serious geographic bottleneck. 20% of all the oil consumed on Earth has to pass through the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow waterway bordering Iran. Right now, that critical artery is facing an immediate crisis, sending a severe shockwave directly into international energy markets. This animated dual-line chart shows exactly how fast traders reacted. Brent crude has spiked by nearly 5%, resting at just under $100 a barrel. At the exact same time, the U.S. West Texas Intermediate benchmark surged over 4%, blowing past the $105 mark. A breakdown in diplomacy thousands of miles away translates instantly into an unavoidable global tax at the gas pump and increased overhead for manufacturers worldwide. This massive market panic was sparked by a single post on social media, publicly rejecting a proposed ceasefire. U.S. President Donald Trump took to his Truth Social platform to dismiss Iran's latest peace offering, typing out that Tehran's terms were totally unacceptable. The core of that rejected deal revolved around nuclear material. Iran offered to dilute some of its highly enriched uranium and transfer the rest to a third-party country, provided they received guarantees in return. The United States and Israel, specifically Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, have a completely different bottom line. They are demanding the physical removal and complete dismantling of the enrichment sites themselves. Because there is no middle ground between transferring material out of a country and bulldozing the facilities that make it, the conflict has officially left the negotiating room. Now, the battle is playing out physically in the global supply chain. With diplomats sidelined, the leverage shifts directly to the military forces patrolling the maritime trade routes. The U.S. Navy has taken the offensive, actively blockading Iranian ports. They are intercepting, disabling, and diverting commercial cargo ships trying to enter or leave the country. In direct economic retaliation, Tehran is tightening its grip on the Strait of Hormuz. They are actively restricting traffic and have set up a payment mechanism, attempting to charge physical tolls for any vessel crossing the choke point. This tit-for-tat economic squeeze quickly escalated into kinetic warfare, completely shattering the fragile ceasefire in the region. Air defenses in the United Arab Emirates recently intercepted low-flying drones launched from Iran. Kuwait reported hostile targets in its airspace, and off the coast of Qatar, an incoming freighter was actually struck by a drone. Following these strikes, Iranian officials issued a public warning. Any further interference with their vessels will trigger a decisive military strike against American naval ships and regional bases. Both sides are turning a critical commercial shipping lane into a volatile military chessboard, using the natural geography of the choke point as a weapon. In an attempt to secure the strait, a coalition of international forces is stepping in. The UK and France have begun deploying their own naval vessels to the region to restore trade flows. Tehran immediately drew a hard line against this European intervention, promising a decisive and immediate response if those allied ships deploy to the waterway. That specific threat quickly fractured the coalition's unified front. French President Emmanuel Macron walked back his country's deployment, nervously clarifying that their security mission would actually be coordinated with Iran. Crowding a narrow bottleneck with international warships carrying completely different operational mandates does not restore the free flow of trade. Instead, it multiplies the chances of an accidental escalation. All of this military posturing over a stretch of water has severe, lasting consequences for everyday consumers and global markets. This bar chart breaks down the actual price components of a single barrel of oil. Notice this expanding segment labeled the risk premium. This is an invisible tax traders add to the baseline cost to cover the danger of sudden supply disruptions. Because the dispute over Iran's nuclear enrichment remains entirely unresolved, the market cannot predict a return to stability. That extra cost is now locked in. Constant, unpredictable supply uncertainty is the new baseline reality for the energy sector. We are now in an environment where a single drone sighting, a diverted freighter, or a stray missile in the Gulf acts as an immediate trigger, sending fuel costs surging within minutes. As long as diplomatic efforts remain completely stalled, whoever controls the physical choke points of the Middle East